Meet Richard. Richard is what everyone calls a perfect citizen. He grew up hearing the same rules you probably did. Save for emergencies. Let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Skip the fancy coffee. So Richard stayed disciplined. He worked as an engineer for 45 years. He drove second-hand cars. He lived in a simple home. He maxed out his 401k every single year. When his friends traveled across Europe in their 20s, Richard stayed behind and invested instead. When his family wanted to remodel the kitchen in their 40s, Richard replied, "Not now. We need security." By age 65, Richard finally retired with a net worth of $2.5 million. He did everything right. He won the game. And then the unthinkable happened.
2 years into retirement, Richard suffered a massive stroke. He spent the next 3 years moving between hospitals, unable to walk, unable to travel, unable to enjoy the life he postponed for 45 years. He passed away at age 70. When the executor of his estate checked his accounts, the balance showed $2.8 million.
The market had risen while Richard was sick. Now society looks at him and says, "What a success! He died a millionaire." But when I look at Richard, I see a tragedy. I see a man who spent tens of thousands of hours stressing, commuting, sacrificing, all for money he never actually used. By the laws of economics, Richard did not win. He lost. He wasted 45 years of life energy collecting chips he never cashed in. My name is Marcus, and today we're talking about the most controversial, uncomfortable, and mathematically sound philosophy in personal finance: die with zero. Popularized by Bill Perkins, this idea says your goal shouldn't be growing your net worth until death. Your goal should be to end your life with exactly zero in your bank account. If you die with $100,000 left, that isn't a safety buffer. That's unpaid labor. That's time you spent at work instead of with your kids. It sounds terrifying, I know, we're wired to hoard. But stay with me, and I'll show you the math of life energy, the science of memory dividends, and why being the wealthiest corpse in the cemetery is the ultimate failure of resource management. Smash the like button for existential dread, and let's get into it. The first mindset shift is understanding what money really is. We treat money as the goal. We check our net worth apps and feel dopamine when the number rises. But money isn't the destination, it's a tool. Money is stored life energy. You exchange your time, your limited dying hours, for it. If you trade 2,000 hours of life to earn $100,000 and die without spending it, you didn't save money. You worked those 2,000 hours for nothing. You became a slave to the system. You gave up a year of life for a number that disappeared the moment your heart stopped. That brings us to the utility curve of money. This is where traditional financial advice collapses. Standard advice assumes a dollar has equal value no matter when it's spent. Biologically, that's false. Picture 3 people. One is 25, one is 45, one is 85. Give each $10,000 and force them to spend it on a ski trip to the Swiss Alps. The 25-year-old has the time of his life: black diamonds, cheap hostels, new friends, parties until 4 a.m. The utility from that $10,000 is enormous. The 45-year-old enjoys it, but his knees ache. He chooses a nicer hotel. He checks work emails. Still high utility, but less than the 25-year-old. Now look at the 85-year-old. Can he ski? Probably not. Can he handle altitude? Maybe not. That same $10,000 trip might be miserable. He might pay it just to sit indoors drinking hot cocoa. Same money, radically different value. This is the cruelty of biology. Your ability to convert money into enjoyment declines with age. Life has 3 variables: health, time, and money. In your 20s, you have time and health, but little money. In your 50s, you have money and health, but little time.
In your 80s, you have money and time, but little health. Die with Zero argues that saving heavily for your 80s is irrational because your ability to consume is lowest. You're saving for a version of yourself that can't play the game. So why do we do it? Why do we hoard? Two reasons: fear of running out and children. Let's tackle fear first. But Marcus, you say, I don't want to eat cat food at 90. Longevity risk is real. You don't want to hit zero at 75 and live to 95. That's catastrophic. But die with zero doesn't mean zero at retirement. It means zero at death. The solution isn't hoarding. It's annuities and long-term care insurance. If you're scared of living too long, buy an annuity. Give an insurer a lump sum and they pay you monthly until you die, whether that's 80 or 110. That's risk management. Hoarding an extra $500,000 just in case is inefficient fear management. It locks capital that could have been a family trip or sabbatical while you were young enough to enjoy it.
Now the kids. I want to leave a legacy. Noble idea, wrong execution. The average age of inheritance is 60. Think about that. If you die at 85, your kids are nearing retirement. Does a 60-year-old need your money? Usually not. Mortgage paid, kids grown, that inheritance barely changes their life. But give that money a 30, that's transformative. Down payment, business seed money, freedom from debt. Die with Zero says include your kids. Give while alive. Give when it matters. Give with a warm hand, not a cold one. You get to witness the impact. That joy matters.
Now let's talk about memory dividends. Experiences aren't fleeting expenses. They're assets. A great trip pays dividends every time you remember it. Stories, photos, laughing about missing a train in Paris. Just like compound interest, memory dividends compound over time. A trip at 25 pays for 60 years. A trip at 65 pays for 15. Delaying experiences destroys ROI. That's why bucket lists fail. Instead, use time buckets. Divide life into 5-year spans. Place experiences where they belong. Ski Japan at 30 to 40. Read endlessly at 70 to 80. Camp with kids at 35 to 45, before the window closes. Once you do this, something becomes clear. You're running out of time, not money. Now the decumulation phase. We're experts at saving. We're terrible at spending. There's a point where net worth should peak and decline, often in your late 40s or early 50s. If you're 55 and still getting richer yearly, you're working for free. You won but won't stop playing. Calculate your survival number, basic living plus health care until 95. Anything above that is consumption capital. If it isn't spent or gifted, it's wasted. Audit your life. If you died today, what's your balance? What did you skip to save it? Trips, events, lessons? That money becomes a monument to denied life. This isn't about recklessness. If you're struggling, this isn't for you yet. But if you're a saver, if spending makes you feel guilty, understand this. Life isn't about the highest score at the end. It's about playing the game. Richard's tragedy wasn't death. It was delay. Don't trade your prime for surplus. Calculate your number. Buy the experience. Give early. Build memory dividends. Your legacy isn't money, it's memories. Die with zero regrets. Die with zero wasted energy. Die with zero.